So we are recording. Anybody who would like to is invited to step in and share your reflections.
Okay, I can step in, like coming from a very broad perspective, seeing the thought I had was that basically all human beings are connected. The energy we feel here also comes from everyone kind of listening, maybe subconsciously or not, to what is. So our thoughts are something already shared. I think that's something we can move on. And I think that the techniques of listening are really important, that we can listen to everyone in a sense to really let the positive energy grow in each other through that process. It needs a lot of patience, it needs a lot of trust in each other. I think I feel the warm energy we have here in this space already is proof for what's possible, and not really what's possible now, and how, and adding all those little moments together can create positive transformation we want to see also in the power systems we have. And there's huge homework to do for every one of us, of course. So far from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Dominicus.
Yeah, to me, it's a very interesting experience of slowing down, because things are moving very fast outside of spaces like this, for me at least, and I know that for many others here as well. And yeah, feel the complexity and yet the connectedness of different things. And also connect with the questions that still don't have answers. And kind of see if those questions evolved, or they're still the same. It's very interesting. Also having Dominicus here, and bringing specifically peace perspective, because mostly what's the conversations that I'm having with other people on this call and with others are about the environment or like basic life needs of people. And peace is an issue, but peace is discussed as kind of peripheral issue based on all the other things. And having this peace perspective present in my mind as we talked about that really evoked some thinking about violence in all these different forms as a factor in all the other questions we're talking about, including the environment, including economic relationships that people have, including resources and their distribution and all that kind of stuff. And there are some new questions that are arising that I cannot articulate yet, but I feel that they will keep forming. So that's my harvest. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro.
So when you named peace, Fyodor, I immediately thought of one of my favorite movies, Monty Python's Life of Brian, and the famous scene where there's this cell of Jewish rebels, right? And one of the running jokes is how they're always fighting with they hate the other cells, the other groups of rebels even more than they hate the Romans. But at one point they start this conversation, well, what have the Romans ever done for us? And here we are, of course, hearkening back in this conversation to, not just pre-colonial days, but pre, the days of hunter-gatherers and this deep sense of connectedness with nature, and perhaps a time when nature was, we felt held in her bosom and knew how to thrive, with ease. And we still see that modeled, as Elizabeth pointed out, with many groups the few groups that are still here today, able to live that way. But in this scene, right, so people say, what have the Romans ever done for us? And different people around the table keep chiming in, well, they did bring wine. Oh, yes, the wine, that's fine. And then they built the roads and sanitation, the list goes on and on. Yeah, but really, what have they ever done? And then the last person says, well, peace. and John Cleese is the leader. Is like, oh, peace, shut up. And that's the end of the scene. So there's my politically incorrect offering to this closing circle.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
I'm thinking about like what we said earlier, like connectedness and dancing and like moving forward into something really new. We just want to show. I usually have when I sit there working here, I usually have my TV on, and you have the Apple TV, and many of the screensavers there are from the ISS, the space station. This is from over in Central America and the Caribbean, and that gives me really always give me perspective that we really live on one planet, and we have to find new ways to connect the global tribe. And we have never done this experiment before, but there's no way we're not will give our lives to try to actually build a society that works. Because people like us meeting in chat rooms like this, we are the ones that will never give up, and just that stands for something that is bigger than all of us, and getting that feeling that when we connect enough of us people that will never give up, we can see global movements now, like the young people following Greta, and a lot of older people as well, and other movements. It's finally for the use of internet and social media can make a global story that we couldn't make before social media and internet, and that gives me hope. We just have to be outweigh the negative forces and be the positive forces that really uses this for good and amplifies and storytells what we do and what we want, and for that we will find some kind of like global tipping point when enough of us care and say that now we do this or we go bust. So I think there is something there, and I can feel it and I can see it, but we're still few, but we're getting more of us each day, and it's very important that we talk about. We have a lot of conversation left about this. We like just in the beginning of the human experiences, this human conversation about what it really is to be human for tens of thousands or 100,000s or millions of years to come. So that's what I'm leaving with today.
Thank you, Michael. As for myself, I'll try my video, see if I can be seen here. As for myself, I'm noticing that the topic of indigeneity, being indigenous, has come up a couple times now in these calls that I've been part of. And that's been a question on my mind for a long time. What does it mean to be indigenous? To me, indigenous means to belong to the earth. We find it, we are earthlings. I put in the chat window that the earth peoples in the same way that an orange tree oranges. And where in our long history of being members of what we might call the human race do we have the things we can dive into and appreciate and amplify that we can carry forward with us that will help us in creating a sanity now and in the future? And I would like to see humans have at least as long a reign as the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs reigned on Earth for 165 million years with brains the size of peas. We've been around here in one form or another for somewhere between 3 and 5 billion years, depending upon where you want to draw the line of what hominoid constitutes a human being. And we seem to be on the precipice of taking ourselves out of the picture with really big brains. So I trust that there is an innate intelligence in nature that can express itself through us. I've always had a little trouble with the term biomimicry because I don't think it's about mimicking nature. I think it's about actually embodying nature and bringing forth the inherent intelligence that is available to us. I think there's a lot to be regained and recovered from the study and partnership with Indigenous tribes, as well as exploring what's new and emerging with contemporary peoples, contemporary thought and technology. So I'm really delighted to be part of this movement and to be part of this hosting team that's convening these conversations. It's a way for me, just meeting with folks like this is a way for me to stay sane. And then I turn down the media and kind of focus on my garden and my friends and the people I know who are doing great work in the world. And that's what keeps me going, keeps me getting up in the morning and putting one foot in front of the other. So thank you all. We are complete. Conferenceweaving.com is where you'll find the resources for the harvesting, and you can look at what else has been said on other calls. There will be another call tomorrow. I think that one's at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Ben, you want to give a little detail on that if anybody wants to join that?
Yeah, that's the paradigm bridging conversation with Spring Cheng and Laurie Michaelis, who were both at the Climate Change and Consciousness conference. And there is a little bit of a summary. If you follow the conference weaving links, you can see some of what they're writing about it. But the way I heard Spring's side of it first, that there was one wing of people that Charles Eisenstein kind of branded the climate accountants, who are basically very much focused on urgency and technology, and arguably an old paradigm or modern industrial growth economy paradigm mindset that says we have this technological need to fix this. We've got to get carbon down to net zero by such and such a date, and everything else doesn't matter if we don't do that. And then you have a different perspective on things that might be closer to ancient indigenous wisdom and other new paradigm thought that Spring is coming from. She does a lot of Taoist teaching, Taoist-based teaching. So the two of them are going to be in a fishbowl, and they're going to have sort of a paradigm bridging conversation between themselves that the rest of us will get to witness, and then there'll be some opportunity for collective dialogue too. And yeah, I'm not in front of my computer to check the exact time, but again, at conferenceweaving.com, if you go to Now What and the Consciousness Deep Dive, you'll see all of that. And then tomorrow night, we start the first of 3 closing rounds for this whole Now What, or the deep dive engagement. That's the June portion of Now What, where we'll do collective meaning making and sensing into what's happened, into what we've learned, both in a content level and in a process level about what's going on here and how this kind of a process might evolve and might be applied in other contexts. And it's a chance to also extend invitations for other kinds of engagements that various people are interested in. And there'll also be a follow-on to this in terms of a financial piece that I'm not going to go into right now. Yeah, so please do contribute to the harvest if you wish beyond this recording. But we're still recording now, aren't we? And hope to see you on one of the 4 remaining calls, and if not, then in some other capacity.
Cool.